In an unspecified future somewhere in space, new conquistadors have attempted to replicate the earthly endeavor in America on a planet inhabited by insectoids, with far from positive results. Strangely, the defeat they suffered hasn't completely killed the invaders, who continue to exist in the form of walking corpses, one of whom is our protagonist. His peaceful slumber is disrupted by a young alien, and shortly after he loses his precious flag. This leaves him no choice but to set out in search of it, encountering strange machinations and alien creatures along the way. The story of Conquistadorio is rather simple and straightforward, although it provides minimal context, and it is conveyed through comic panels without any text. It's strange and somewhat nonsensical, but it mainly serves as a backdrop for the gameplay. Oh, I almost forgot to mention there is no ending, as this is only the first part. A quick way to describe the gameplay of Conquistadorio is to make a small comparison. Conquistadorio can be defined as an adventure in the style of Amanita, the studio behind the Samoroster series. Here, you face a game that provides very few explanations, almost none, leaving the player in the position of having to figure everything out on their own. However, where Amanita manage even in a cryptic way to draw attention to important points in the environment, the developers of Conquistadorio haven't succeeded in doing the same. This leaves the player bewildered, with no idea of what the game expects from them, faced with puzzles that often have arbitrary and absurd logic. The situation is made worse by the environments, which maliciously hide the active points, forcing you to click here and there randomly, hunting for interactions. When it comes to using inventory items, pinpoint precision is required, or else the interaction fails, which can be very frustrating when two hotspots are close to each other. I understand that what has been said so far might not be very encouraging, but I haven't finished yet. Backtracking between scenes is a tedious constant, and the integrated help system is a hassle. Not only do we have to solve the same arcade minigame every time to activate it, but using it provides the complete solution for the room we're in, including parts we can't solve yet. This only serves to further confuse us. The game itself is not very long, about 3 hours, but it never seems to end. It's not all negative, though. The game's graphics are enjoyable, featuring detailed environments and well-animated characters. Unfortunately, as I mentioned before, the graphics tend to hide interactive objects and the characters appear somewhat disconnected from the scenes. The game lacks voice acting, with the exception of a few sounds. The soundtrack is quite bland, to the point that it can be hard to notice. However, the sound effects are decent. It's really hard to recommend Conquistadorio. The puzzle design is too chaotic, filled with mistakes and oversights that seem to be intentionally designed to frustrate players, doing everything to throw obstacles in their path.